pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you, to come before the city, and do the business of the city. We ask that you would give us wisdom and help us to do the very best job we can for the city. We ask that you be here, that your presence would be here, and that you would lead us and guide us in all things that we do. All the glory be to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. It's now January the 17th, 2017. We call this meeting of the City Commission of Fort St. Joe to order. First thing we have to do is the consent agenda. We have a regular commission meeting on 1/3/17. Everybody had a chance to look that over and need a motion to adopt. Have a motion by Commissioner Thursby. Have a second by Commissioner Ashby. All in favor say aye. Aye. Fort St. Joe Redevelopment Agency. Bill here tonight? Nope. All right. A lot of things going on. All right, city attorney.
Yes, Mayor, good evening. The last meeting, the commission asked me to draft a proposed medical marijuana dispensary moratorium ordinance. I have done that. It's proposed ordinance 529. It should be attached to the agenda. And if the commission feels comfortable and would like to move forward, we can have a public hearing on the matter and the first reading, and with the aim for the next meeting on February 7th and the second reading and adoption.
Everybody had a chance to look that over? Any questions about it?
I've looked it over and it all sounds good to me. Do we need to go ahead and hold the first reading tonight, or?
Yes, if you want to have the second reading and possibly the adoption on February 7th.
I'll make the motion that we read it by title only, is that correct?
Well, we need to ask for a public hearing if anyone here would like to speak on it.
Okay, we'll call it after a public hearing. Anyone here like to speak on the medical marijuana ordinance that we're talking about here tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would. Well, this was.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, you go back to come up.
Oh,
You know the drill.
all right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Matthews, and of course, when this ordinance was formed and dated, I wasn't here, so I would like to get some of the facts about this the medical marijuana.
What we're doing at this time is putting a moratorium on it as far as dispensaries opening up. And the reason we're doing it is an 8-month moratorium because the state has not come down with all the rules yet for how we're going to proceed with this. And they've got 9 months to do so from the time it was adopted. So we're just trying to get something in place now. And we want to let it go forward as soon as all the rules are put forward because it was voted on by about 70% of the people in Gulf County.
Okay, and when is the first public hearing?
Right now.
Now? Today, at this meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, not for right now, no.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
And just to clarify, with the city attorney, this does not stop anybody from using medical marijuana with a prescription that was purchased in the state of Florida in Fort St. Joe. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. What it does is it poses a moratorium on any dispensary or cultivating operations in the city limits of Fort St. Joe.
Yeah, just to clarify, we're not getting rid of it in Fort St. Joe. We're just not going to have a dispensary at this time until we figure out the rules.
When will the next public hearing be?
It'll be up at the next meeting, the regular meeting, February 7th.
I'd like to also say this, I called for a motion for us to put forward the first reading on it, but I was doing some reading and, I don't know what they meant exactly by it, but everything I've read that the local officials need to be very proactive in getting something themselves started on that and not just wait on the state. What they mean by that, I'm not sure, but if, whatever we need to do, council.
Well, we need to start looking at how we're gonna do it. What is the numeric, how many are gonna be allowed? Where they're gonna be allowed.
Are No,
we need to start looking at that and figure out where we're gonna go with that. And when the state comes down with the actual rules, then we can implement
that part.
pursuant to those rules.
Okay.
How does that work in the courts? Let's say we tomorrow issue a couple of licenses and we open up 2 dispensaries in Port St. Joe. Can they come back after they change, after they make up their mind on how many we're allowed and close them?
We can't, we're saying right now, we're not
Well,
authorized.
just a hypothetical though, I mean, because I know what you're saying, I'm reading a lot about cities are being proactive, and there are cities that have already opened some. And that's my question, if it came down to it and we had 2 open, and then they said, oh, the whole county, you only get 1, what then?
We would have to follow the state rules and make sure
So
that
this is safe, is what I'm trying.
Yeah,
is a
this
good thing
allows
do.
us to know what those are, gives us time to look into it and figure out how exactly we want to do it pursuant to the rules of the state.
Yeah, and all I'm trying to get, this to me is the safest way to go, because we might have to give somebody a permit and do that in the future.
Correct.
Is there been a second?
No, I don't even think we got a motion.
Yeah, I made a motion.
Thursday,
We got a motion by Commissioner Thursby, second by Commissioner Brazil. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
He's got to
That was
read
for the
it.
first
You gotta
reading?
read it now.
Yeah, he's got to read it.
This is the proposed ordinance number 529, it's an ordinance imposing a temporary moratorium on the operation of medical marijuana treatment centers and licensed dispensing organizations within the city of Port St. Joe for a period of 8 months unless rescinded or extended by a subsequent ordinance or by a subsequent amendment to the city's land development regulations regarding the regulation of marijuana treatment centers and licensed dispensing organizations, providing for conflicts, severability, and immediate effective.
All in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Good done. I'm getting, I'm doing it twice already. All right, hold it. You through there, Mr. Attorney?
Thank
Don't have
you.
anything else for us?
No, I don't, Mayor.
Okay. Jim?
Yes, sir. The first item we have under old business, 2017 legislative session budget request. This we've been talking about for the last few meetings. We need to make a decision tonight as to how we want to move forward. The requests have to be submitted by January the 31st, and we're talking with our local representatives. These have to be introduced this year as a bill, a standalone bill. So the recommendation from our representation is to come up with, 1, 2, couple of projects you feel are good, and we'll get them submitted up to see what we can do. If you'll turn over to page 9, we started a list at the staff level. We also looked at a couple of other things we thought about today. As a matter of fact, one of the projects we were looking at before was possibly the move of the museum. We've looked at that, but we don't have a building large enough to house the materials and stuff that's in there. So that's another one too that got put on the back burner because we just don't have a facility large enough to house those kind of things. So there's 8 different projects there. A couple of them are shovel ready. We just need to make a decision as to 1 or 2 so we can get submitted up.
Guys, I think we need probably something that is shovel ready, being the main, I look at number 1.
Yeah.
And just an idea I had is DEO is already, paid for the planning on this, water and sewer line replacement for downtown. It's shovel ready and it was paid for by DEO grant. So the state's already got some investment in that one.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think, we said a little while ago, a few meetings ago, that we should finish what we started. Water has been our project, guys, for the last, I don't know, many more years than I've been here. I think we need to work on that still. We've got 3 more main projects to do with water, and doing the downtown water would be my number 1 choice on this.
Yeah, and I would say number 2 would be, even though we requested, from Representative, Bashir's, some help for our Long Avenue paving project, which would extend the paving of Long Avenue all the way to Oak Grove Road, I think. What's the name of it? Niles, not Niles, but anyway. Madison. I like that one. I agree with you there, Commissioner Pazette. In the back of my mind, I feel like
Representative Bashir is gonna come through for us on that. So I'm from another angle, so I think, I don't necessarily wanna put it in this particular request.
Okay, till we find.
I mean, which we need to make it,
When will we know something on that request?
I have no idea. It's, Jim, can you give some kind of?
I have not heard anything. I did talk with, Representative Bashir's office about the application process here, and their suggestion was that he was working that from a separate angle on
Okay.
there. So,
All right.
I do not know the percentage chance of getting that approved though.
Jim, how long before, we need to make a decision on this?
Yes, sir. These have to be turned in by January the 31st is the deadline they've asked for these. So, yes, sir, we have got to get busy on putting some applications together for you.
I know, John, I spoke with you today as well, and, number two, the First Street, sewer lift station that you spoke about. That's pretty huge. I guess the dollar amount would probably scare me from submitting it, because there's no telling what it might be. I think you said 200 to 700.
Could be anywhere in between, it depends
Yeah.
on exactly, I know Clay and I have spoken about it more than once, so there's, there's different options on the table, but it's really all about design, and what we want to put in.
In your opinion, what would be the number two item that we think we could reasonably, get a look at from the legislature in this funding, cycle? You've got First Street sewer lift station, stormwater upgrade 6 and 7. Cape Sewer, Beacon Hill Sewer, those are already in the, Triumph.
I mean, the only other
Request.
shelf-ready or shovel-ready project you've got is the drainage, albeit small, from that list, I think that's the only other one.
What is the cost on that price tag?
I have no idea.
Ish, 100,000, 200? No?
You know, I like going for bigger things, guys, but the thing is, I feel like we're gonna be more apt to, instead of not getting anything, is that we're gonna be more apt to get the shovel-ready stuff than the non-shovel-ready stuff, and, you know, I have to be real careful on that, because hell, I live on Sixth Street, but that's not the reason I say that, it is a problem, I'm not the one to push this forward, I think it was the neighbors on Seventh Street, but shovel-ready stuff, from what I understand, is gonna be what's gonna come first.
I'm good with 1 and 3, guys.
All right, good.
That seems feasible, we got plans already.
Clay, do you have any suggestions?
No.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I mean, I agree with you, I wouldn't think for rotating money, but there's some other sources for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe.
1 and 3, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
Everybody good with 1 and 3?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lowry, second by Commissioner Ashford. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll get that moving. The next item we have is pickleball court, something we've been discussing for over a year, and there's been a lot of interest. So we, at the request last week of the last meeting of the board, we did provide some information in your packet, and I believe Commissioner Lowry also gave us some stuff tonight too, kind of a layout too. So we need to decide how we want to move forward.
John, appreciate you putting that, getting that together. I'm not gonna talk about this lengthy. I did provide a couple renderings of 3 different layouts of courts, that were given to me by players that are actively playing, have been playing for several years, but, I just would like the board to look at our options and consider something like this in one of our parks. And if it takes doing some kind of workshop or, something, let's do that. Talk to your constituents if you would. But that's really all I have about that.
I would just like to see, a few more citizens of Port St. Joe come before us and ask us to build some pickleball courts. The only ones that come to me have been from Mexico Beach, Cape San Blas. It'd be great if we could get some and bring folks in, spend money, what have you, but I would like to see a few more folks citizens of the city, come forward.
For an interest.
Yes, sir. It's my opinion.
And I believe they're there, I just don't think they showed up yet. I know in the beginning of when you did talk to them, that's primarily what it was, because I also talked to a few, but going down to the, tennis courts, I have seen a lot more faces that I knew from my years of life. Let's try to get those people to come up here and talk to us and see what they may want.
Yeah.
What we can do.
Well, rather than pull the trigger on a brand new court, I'd like to at least repaint some lines on another court, see if it gets used.
Yeah, and see if we get any interest.
If then maybe we go off and build our own somewhere else.
Once interest grows.
And I'm fine with that, but I've heard there was some outcry from the public on that.
Tennis court?
Yeah. I just,
It's tough, it's a big price tag to pull the trigger on a new one.
yeah, I mean, it'd have to be probably a bird out, grant application. Yeah. Anyway.
Keep it on the burner.
Good discussion. Okay. On the new business, well, actually, this is one that we'd actually discussed at the last meeting as well, too, the Chamber app. This was actually, Ms. Ronnie Kopak talked to us the last meeting about trying to partnership up on an app with the county, $1,500.
And all this is contingent to, on the, county doing 1,500.
TDC.
And I don't wanna be the first one to commit.
Well, I also, Mr. Mayor, spoke with, someone from TDC this week, and, about this issue, and I'm totally all for the issue, but to me, from what I've gathered from talking to the people that I've talked to, is I don't believe anybody's gonna move forward on the $1,500, so we definitely don't wanna be the only ones, and I was pretty much told they're not moving forward.
Well, the app is live. I just talked to Ronnie before this meeting, and she just got out of surgery, so she couldn't be here today. But it is live. I didn't know much about it, but she did tell me the nuts and bolts are, if you look at your picture, those little circles, each $1,500 sponsor gets one of those little circles. You can put whatever you want there. You can put pay your water bill. If they hit that button, it takes you to the page on our city site where you can pay your water bill. You can do whatever you want with your button, essentially. You're renting space on her app, but it is $1,500, and it does require 3 in the community. So,
I would, say we should go along with it. It can help businesses in the city, but at the same time, I would put a proviso that we only go along with it if the two other entities, agree with it also. And also, when we're doing non-departmental funding, at budget time, normally we give the chamber $500 or $1,000, what have you, that this would be counted toward that.
and this is part of the membership, she said as well. So you don't have to join the chamber, you're part of it for this as well.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem putting those forward 2 weeks ago. I would definitely make it contingent upon the other participation in it.
So I'll make that motion, Mayor.
All right, we can go along as long as the other participants.
That's correct. If the TDC and the county, sign on for the 3-year commitment, that we're on.
All right, we got a motion from Commissioner Brazil, we have a second. Second on Commissioner Ashbrook. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item we have on is in reference to the beaches sewer system request for billing data. This is actually from Mr. Frank Seifert out at Gulf Air Sewer System, another name for it. Basically, Mr. Seifert's asked last month for billing data for his roughly 305 customers. Last month we did it for him on there, on a one-time basis to help him out on it. But basically what he's asked is, okay, what would be the charge moving forward if we were to run this billing data for him every month for 300 some customers on there. We've got kind of a similar agreement with another utility provider that we pay $5 a month to read the meters on. So there's kind of a similar situation there, but this would actually require more work from city staff in that we would actually physically have to go into each one of these accounts and print out the billing data on there. So just kind of get your thoughts together on that as to if you want to try to put some kind of proposal together.
what's the reason it would be more work for us as it was with the Cape? Why is it different? Is it because of equipment or?
Yes, that's the main thing, because what we have now with the other provider, we go out and physically read the meters because we have the data, we got permission to do that. Versus, Mr. Seifert don't have that equipment on there.
Is it available to him though? He can buy that equipment?
What is the cost to the city to do this each month?
Well,
Where
basically,
we gonna have to do it?
what we did last month was we had 2 employees that it took over a day and a half to go through and solid to go through 300 something customers.
What is that computing dollars plus?
What we did was last time, we done it at a favorable cost to Mr. Seifert. We charged $300 something what we charged last time because, we try to help people. Other utilities.
My thoughts are we do the $5 just like we pay Lighthouse Utilities, $5 per customer. We don't really need to get in the business of helping a private enterprise at our cost. I think that would be like any business coming in, so you do the billing for us, we'll pay you what it costs you. I don't think we should be doing that. Now, if we can make some money by doing it, a little bit of money, then I'd be for it, because I don't think our citizens want to be doing things for private enterprises and at least not making a little money on it. So that's my thoughts. Now,
Rex, I think you're lowballing though. I think we give the same service to Lighthouse Utilities at $5, but they do all the work. So I think there's something to be said for maybe between $5 and $10, maybe $7 or $8.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but
Just to be fair.
I don't think we need to lose money by any means. But I'm talking about it. This is really my first.
That's it. This is just to
about
get it out there for you to discuss. He asked us to look at it for him. Just a discussion tonight to get you thoughts.
Bring it back to us.
All right, the next item is in reference to the George Court Park rental. Mr. Bill Kennedy did put some ideas together as we're moving forward through the park. Not something we gotta make a decision on tonight either, but we wanted to keep the ball moving on this, to continue to look at our ideas as to how we're gonna manage the park as items are added.
We get it fixed up. We can't continue giving it away, and having to pay to clean it up and everything else. I think this is a good start.
Okay. We'll continue to look at it and we'll keep adding to it. All right, the next item we have is in reference to the Washington Gym volunteers. Commissioner Bezette wanted to talk to you tonight about it.
I meant to bring it up last meeting. I think all of you got a letter in your box a couple of weeks ago from Tony Clements. He volunteered to basically manage the Washington Gym after hours when workforce is not doing it. His idea is to give the children somewhere to go during the day and part of early evening, I assume. But there needs a little bit of work needs to be done as far as to make sure we have everything in place so Tony will know what we expect him to do and what we shouldn't do. And so I just want to get the feelings of you guys to see if that would be. I know he can't do it by himself, and he'll have to have some volunteers, but we should know who they are. One person got one key. There's a lot of things that we need to work out. So if you guys are somewhat agreement with that, I can sit down with Tony and the city manager and bring something back at a future date, maybe next meeting.
I like Tony. I think
Yeah, I think Tony
job.
I would just ask the liability question of it. Since we have an agreement with the workforce board, who's responsible?
We would have, yeah, I think we would have to, we're looking at their lease agreement tonight. And I think we'd have to get the attorney and write something in there that any time that's after their hours, that we authorize it to be open, that we're liable. And also kind of piggybacking right into this next topic of the agenda. Also, when we rent out Washington Gym and we get the money, how we could pass some of that through to workforce because they're paying the utilities.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they own that building when we gave them the lease, that money's theirs.
Yeah, we also give them $15,000.
So, I know we do.
But
And
so,
they're renting their property.
so that's something we need to talk about when we're redoing this lease. It's got to be, because they've already come before us with asking our help with the utility bill that's gotten, out of sight for them.
Yeah.
And I'd hate for them to walk away from helping us out with our programs out there. They do a great job.
John, for trying to get it figured out, so we just don't happen again next year.
Workforce Development Board lease now?
Yes, sir, we can, that's what we can roll into it. Yes, it is coming due, if you flip over to page, let's see, 24, the lease is coming due next month, so I want you to go ahead and be thinking about that.
I wanna say something now about this. That kitchen and that gym.
Yeah.
Has to be made available when there are events going on in that neighborhood. I understand they bought some appliances and stuff, but most of the time when they wanna use the kitchen, it's not the appliances, they don't wanna use it to cook, but they do wanna use the hot water to clean up, to prepare for what stuff they're fixing. And they can't even get in there and do it because they won't let them. They're gonna have to make something in this lease. That's not gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I mean, that community over there, that's the only place they got really to hold big functions. And when they hold a function in that gym, I don't know if we gotta work out a pay to use the kitchen some kind of way, or just maybe put in a cleanup fee, make sure they clean it up. But something's gotta be done. We're not going to that. We're not gonna do it not one more time, if I got anything to say about it. So it's just terrible over there Saturday.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I would like to reiterate what you just said, and I would even like to see us possibly look at the idea of excluding the kitchen from the lease. Because it is absolutely ridiculous that they're doing events for the community, doing all they can over there, and they gotta wash their hands outside of a water spigot. They got to boil their water out of a water hose. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the place is owned by the city, I want us to all work together, yes, we do, lease it to them, but I wouldn't mind listening as what we could do to exclude the kitchen from that lease. That way, that particular kitchen, and I don't mean put stipulations on it, you use it, it's gotta be clean, maybe a deposit, I'm not against that. But give the people the opportunity to use the kitchen if they're out there feeding 200 people, and that's what I saw this weekend, am I correct?
I've been at 3 different events, since I've been on this board, and that's been the number one topic. Negative.
It is.
Topic, so I'm for working with you guys to see if we can figure it out.
I think we just need to give the workforce board.
What's that, Mayor? What we call it?
This is something that's gotta happen. This kitchen's gotta be open with people. And I can understand, as a non-responsible people, when you have responsible people that will take care of things, they don't have a leg to stand on. They don't pay us a dime to rent that thing. Don't pay us a penny. We give them $15,000, plus we only use our facilities. And then the community over there can't use that kitchen? No, it ain't happening again. I can give you, if I have to go there and bust the daggum door down myself, they don't use that kitchen, I guarantee you.
Brady, let me see if I can get a hold of Ms. Kim Bodine and we can set up a meeting to talk with her. Let's do that and we'll bring it back to y'all with y'all's concern. Anything else y'all
Won't
want
be
to?
another day like that, if I got anything.
Mr. Attorney, that would be modifying number 11 on page 25 then, because it specifically says in here that any appliance and fixture installed by them will remain the property of the leasee. So it is their property, they could come in there and take it.
I say take it, let's buy something and replace it.
Well, that's just what I'm saying.
We need to probably take up a donation somewhere along the line to help with the financial part of it.
We need to, talk to her about that, see if she might be just willing for a small fee to sell the appliances to us and be done with it.
We'll set up a meeting and voice our concern.
Okay.
We'll bring it back to you.
All right, so we got a lot of things to work out on that lease agreement, especially when it comes to the kitchen. It's not gonna happen again. and I'm not gonna go out there and look at what I looked at Saturday. You know, it just wasn't called for it all, and they just gonna have to cooperate a little bit. Like I say, they don't pay us a dime. I mean, it ain't like we charge them money, we not, we give it to them free. FYE free. So,
I'm with you, man.
I mean, I was upset about it when I went and I was approached by, I said, you know, what's going on? It was a big, great event they had over there Saturday. It's not gonna treat people that way. Not gonna happen. Not on my watch. I guarantee you. Okay, that's all I gotta say about that.
The next item we have is in reference to the FERDAC committee membership. Commissioner Thursby, we want to talk to you tonight about it.
Yeah, guys, as y'all know that, we actually got an opening on the FERDAP committee. I've been wanting to find somebody that was very active and that wanted to really take place and take part of this. I'd approached Claude Thomas. I think most of y'all probably know him as CT. He's also someone that said that he'd be more than happy to, help with opening the gym. If Tony Hatton ever needed to be out of town or something, very responsible young man. And I'd like to make a motion tonight that we add Claude Thomas to the FERDAP committee.
We have a motion from Commissioner Thursby. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Gazelle. Any discussion?
Bill Kennedy's going off.
That's what I wanna know. Bill's coming off, and Paul's gonna take his place,
Well, yes,
cause
right,
Blake Denton's already on it.
right,
and we
right,
voted on
that's for
So
Bill.
that'll be 1,
Bill
2,
off.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members. Is that right?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 8 members.
and that's not a problem, but nobody, the
All right,
number.
any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
The next item is in reference to the FDOT Scott grant cycle. I did go to a workshop last week at FDOT. The new cycle is open up through March the 31st, and this year we can apply for 2 Scott grant applications. The one we got last year was on Garrison Avenue, so get your thoughts together because we need to turn in some applications.
What's the deadline again?
March the 31st. So we got a little bit of time, but we need to make a decision the next meeting, more than likely. So.
Explain a little bit more about how that happens and what the length of time is before we actually get funding.
Yes, sir. To my understanding, the rules this year have changed a little bit in that the one we got the last one we had approved, we actually got money for engineering, design, and for construction. Now they're gonna separate that out. You'll be approved, but you'll get your money for your engineering and your design work in next year if you would approve this year. Then you skip a year, then you get your money for the construction. So they are actually, if you look at most FDOT projects, most of them are done in 5 years. David Langston Drive sidewalks, prime example. We got approval in 2013 for sidewalks that we're gonna finally get next year. So FDOT,
17.
they may slide it up. They said they would try, but they guaranteed it in 18.
I think it's state fiscal year 17-18.
Yeah.
So July 17.
About the time you forget about it, Mayor, your money will come through. But yes, but we need to go ahead and apply for it because there is money there.
Right.
We got some last time.
So if we get approved for something, we won't see the funding till 2020.
That's what you're staring down, yes.
And then we can start on the project in 2020.
Well, we need to just find something that we need, but we don't need it real bad.
Rest of Garrison.
Good point.
So get your thoughts together, we'll put some applications together. The last item I have on there tonight was I was approached by a restaurant about dog-friendly restaurants. In order to make restaurants dog-friendly, you actually have to have an ordinance passed by the city commission. So it's one of the things I thought I would approach the board to see if there's any interest in dog-friendly restaurants.
Not for me.
Nope.
Nope. Ain't taking my dog to no restaurant. I don't wanna be there.
Well, it would be so bad, but we're in charge of doing all the enforcement and everything
Right.
else and everything in place and,
Yeah.
I don't think we need to.
That's why they invented the doggy bag.
Take it home to it.
All right,
That's all I had tonight, Mayor.
all right, that's it. Public Works.
Yes, sir, I'm not sure exactly what's in the packet. Is there anything in there relating to this topic?
FDEP requirements.
There's nothing.
No, no document.
I didn't know anything on there yet.
So, I wasn't sure where to start.
Okay.
Just before the holidays, we had, one of our visits from FDEP, Mr. John Pope came down, visited Larry's shop, and came to Public Works for the distribution side of that. So, a couple things happened or changed this year for us. Mathematically, we went over the 10,000 customer mark. So what that means is the implementation of the cross connection control program and a valve exercising program. We've had a cross connection control program ordered for years. It's just we've never been mandated to truly have an implemented program the way the state wants us to. And this holds true for both the valve maintenance plan, our exercising program, and the cross connection control. So, in their letter, they actually requested we have something in motion by February 8th. Obviously, we're not gonna have everything implemented by February 8th. So I think this next week, Jim and I plan on sitting down and giving John a call just to have that conversation. But this is a very big deal. It's gonna be very labor intensive. This just not only applies to your commercial businesses, which most have them, not all, but most. But it also applies to residential. And I say that from the irrigation well side. So if an individual has an irrigation well, what the state's basically saying is there'll be a cross connection control device installed on that premise and then inspected per that manufacturer's recommendation, which is usually around 3 years. So that cost, just so we understand, from the commercial side is going to be yearly. So every year, if you own a commercial business, you'll be required to test that backflow. If it's not tested, then essentially we issue a letter. At some point, if you don't comply, we turn your water off. The same is going to hold true on the residential side if you have an irrigation well. So now what that means for us, obviously, we sell water, for the southern half of Middle County, basically. The only way to go see if you got a well in the yard, you use the water. So that's gonna be the labor intensive part. And that's gonna be always changing, someone can put a well down tomorrow and remove one tomorrow just the same way. So it's gonna be constantly changing. They requested this database be digital. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts to that. But tonight, we just want to prepare the board so you understood kind of what we were up against. It's gonna be a big deal. To tell these customers, this is 100% on you, to install it. If you install it or you don't, if you don't, you have to make, whatever decision you have to make.
No red tape. I'd like to see Mr. John Pope come down here and, give us the details behind this.
I can give John Hope a call and
I'd like to see.
I'm with you, Commissioner.
I see him come forward.
You gonna have some fired up?
And I'll be honest with you, when he gets here, I want everybody, we don't care, not put it in there. I hope everybody in the city of Port St. Joe that we serve water to in the southern is here that night.
Well, let's just understand, these aren't John's rules per se, these are development state.
Well, I just want John to know the way we feel.
Well, we did too, to start the process, so even though that we were trying to, to take care of, we did put a letter on the back of the water bill, so. First thing, we gotta figure out who in the world even has an irrigation meter, we don't know how many's out there,
Would it be a good, would it be a good time to, consider requiring a permit in the city for wells? Going forward now, not the ones that already
The
going forward.
agencies you think would do that don't, and no one really has that responsibility.
We called, we tried to find out.
DOH, water management, no one really has that responsibility for the irrigation side. Right, technically, it's something you can put down yourself and put a piece of PVC in the garden. So there's just no one watching.
And you're across jurisdictions too. Yes, we man the utilities on this end of the county, but a lot of these are gonna be out in the county. So, yeah. We're trying to get voluntary compliance to see what we got, but, how many people are gonna respond back?
Well, yeah, the other thing, we've in the past, we've found irrigation wells and shields and barrages, so, we're gonna miss some, there's no question about it. We can't just, go off into someone's backyard and get shot.
We're working on it.
That's all you got for us, John?
That's all I have to say.
Surface water.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, we did, install the new filter modules on Friday. We have all new modules now, number 2 filter. Of course, with the new module, we saw an increase in the improvement, the performance of the filters, performing very well. And we're taking the old modules, we bagged them up, and we're gonna try to use them, if we have to, as spares.
Anything else? Anything for Larry? Thank you, Larry. Wastewater, Gary.
Nothing, Drew, unless you guys have questions for me.
You spraying?
Not spraying, you get a lot of rain. We got 4 foot of room on the pond. We've got a tank.
Kevin, what's the, minimum depth is there a requirement for the wastewater lagoon or?
Not for the minimum.
Not for the minimum, so you could actually pump it down some more if you wanted to.
The goal is to just see how far we can go.
Yeah,
We won't be able to get 6 feet of it, that's kind of a state standard for wastewater.
right.
We'll never get down quite that far, I don't think. I want to see how far we can go. So,
Yeah, I'd like to see us have a little wiggle room anyway, so we won't be in a panic when we get a lot of rain events and start worrying about spilling over and getting fined.
That's why we kept pumping. Years past, they stopped by now.
Right.
Because we didn't have the ability to get down where we are now. We just keep pushing it down and we get to the point where we keep pulling more water out. And that's our
Good deal.
and we just try to keep it there best we can.
Any more questions for Kevin?
No,
Thank you, Kevin. City engineer.
Yes, sir. On the list under me, I just have a couple of updates. The Garrison Avenue pavement is about finished. I think they're on the home stretch there, maybe a couple signs or something. There's not a lot, they're not done. The boat ramp, we're receiving bids on that Thursday. We're looking at those up Thursday afternoon.
This Thursday.
That's correct. Yes, sir. And, it just doesn't have a regulation. February 17th. And then Jones Homestead Sewer, we're still working through the grant agreement with the state. We can pay back a couple of revisions of the wording, so we'll work on that and get back to you. That's kind of where we are with those. That's all I have for this. Yes, sir.
Any questions for Clay? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Next thing we have is our, code enforcement. And I talked with Mr. Ritchie this morning. We got a lot of signs out in right of ways about tax repairs. And he told me that he has contacted the company to put them out. And he gave them till Friday to pick them up. If they do not pick them up by Friday, he will be picking them up. I told him, well, you make sure that they know there's things going on around here. That's what my conversation was with him today, and he wanted to go on as soon as possible. He said he'd like to give them a couple of days to see if they'll comply without him having to take them up. Come Friday, if they're not gone, we take them up. All right. Police department.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I don't have anything on the agenda, but I would like to let you know, this Saturday, the police department's hosting a free self-defense class for women. We can only have 20 people. Right now, we've got 19 that have signed up, so we got one spot left. So it's gonna be a good class. There is a lot of physical activity in it. We do have a senior in high school. Most everybody else is between 17 and we actually have a lady in her 70s that's gonna do it. So we have one spot left. If you know somebody, send them to the police department. We have a waiver they've got to sign and all the rules. That's all I got.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, sir.
Told everybody else, let your wife join. Oh, yeah. She will we'll be able to look
I
at
think I heard Miss Lisa say she might be senior more to join up. Is that right, Miss Lisa? You joining up? I got it. All right, Miss City Clerk.
Sir, I do not have anything
Don't have
tonight.
anything? All right. Citizens be heard. Anyone in the audience tonight wish to be heard? Step up.
Chester Davis, pastor, who's the president of Chester, president of the PAC, North St. Joe Redevelopment. First of all, I just have about three things I want to be very quick on. I want to piggyback on what the mayor said about the jail. First of all, one is that we're hoping that when you look at the new contract and how it's going to be assimilated, that you would include North Port St. Joe community as part of that agreement, simply because I, as a pastor, I think we should be held responsible for some of the things in our own area. And I'm saying that to say that whatever the city come up with, the citizens of that area need to be responsible for help holding down and taking care and paying the bill for that gym. We want to claim it and not let it just sit there and be used for just the workforce. It is in the community, and the people, for whatever reason, they lost interest until all of a sudden they get ready to have a big event. But it's becoming more and more of a problem because events are now coming, and they're going to be more pronounced because more citizens are getting involved with what's going on over there. That's one of the reasons we need a little bit more representation from that area. But based upon what you said, we really want to be part of the decision making for the use of that gym. That includes helping pay the bill. On the March the 4th, we have the entire West North Primitive Baptist Association coming to Port St. Joe, which is a big thing for the community, for the entire community. They're coming as a church representing something they used to do years ago. They used to come to Port St. Joe to just show collaboration for the Old West Primitive Baptist Church. So the narrator says, we're going to come and show support for Gulf County. So when they come, we need to use what? The gym. And we're talking about bringing in 300-400 people for that day at 5 o'clock. So we're going to have to pay the city for the use of the gym, and we don't mind doing that. We really don't mind doing it. And I'm going to make sure that that's taken care of. At the same time, I'm saying that we are willing. There's some of us willing to go ahead and make the obligation to help pay for some of the activities, especially the electric bill for that gym. And I think that is our responsibility if we're going to use it. It shouldn't be all on the city, and it shouldn't be on the workforce because it's out there for us. It's been. I learned how to play ball in that gym. I grew up in that gym, so it's like my home. So I'm with our mayor on helping make the decision on that. And I think we really need to get with the community and make them responsible for the activity that goes on in that gym, not just the city, not just the workforce. Okay, the second thing is that the PAC has submitted to the city and to the redevelopment our concerns and our new development plan for the ongoing cycle that we have coming ahead. And we was hoping that everyone had a chance to already review that so that we can go ahead and start a discussion on it and be approved by the city. The reason we're really urgent about it is simply because we have to get funded. And we're not asking the city necessarily to fund us, but we have to get this thing approved by the city so that we can move ahead. And I'm picking back off of what Mr. Buzzard said. This is a very important issue for us. We have more people now that's committed to trying to be involved with what's going on over there. And in order for us to redevelop or actually bring in new stuff, we really need the city to be behind us. We're not really asking that you go up there and build stuff for us because we believe now we have the instruments in place in order to do something for ourselves. But we definitely need the city to be behind us and approve of what we're trying to do. And so the discussion needs to get on the table as soon as possible in order for us to reach out and get funding from other places. We miss our funding grant from DuPont simply because we didn't understand their date of time. So we now have to reach out to other private developers to help us, come up with finance to pay our consultants. So the plan has already been sent to the city commissioners of redevelopment. I even had talked to him about a bill about what was needed. He said he needed a hard copy, so I got him a hard copy. And like I said, Mr. Bazette, I looked in the paper and I saw your statement and I almost jumped through the roof. I did, and I appreciate your approval of what you've already
We
said.
need to, make sure we get that on the agenda for the next meeting, so we can discuss on how that, do we incorporate that into the LDRs or CIP plan? I mean, they want to do their own funding, so I wouldn't say it'd be under the CIP plan, but we need to, the attorney would figure out how to help us to, look at that plan and incorporate that somehow in our, LDRs.
Well, like I said, we've been a long time in coming, and one of the things I make a statement to the church and to the community is that the wheel that squeaks the loudest gets greased, and we haven't squeaked at all. But now you're going to hear some squeaking simply because we want to move forward. When I moved back home for a long time, I was very quiet about what needed to be, what was in me to do for my community, and the grace of God had given me that I might apply myself to help the area I live in. And then when I looked at the whole picture, it's all of Fort St. Joe that I'm part of. And like I say, even though we section ourselves off to say North Fort St. Joe, and I really wish somehow we can get rid of that term and it be all of Fort St. Joe. But the plight that's before us is to get rid of that blighted area. It went down simply because the economy went bad, and people just it's comfortable, I guess, where they was. But it's time for us to wake up. We're asking the city to go ahead and look at that and help us to get on board with approval, give us a pat on the back so that we can move forward.
Chester, what do your funding sources want from the city?
Well, they're looking
Just
at this.
approval
Yeah.
of the long-term plan?
Yes, and that's based upon what we have already shipped out to the redevelopment agency, so that they might look at the plans and see what we're looking at. Because I think what we've done since February last year is we have shown that we're really about to do the right thing for that community. We've shown in the committees that we had, in the group session that we had, we have had the best consultants to come work with us, and we paid them off, and they are well satisfied. Right now, they're working on a free hand. And they're coming all the way from Canada and New York to come down here to work with us. And they said they will work with us continuously until, we see this thing through. But like I say, if we, the city, don't discuss it, and I'm afraid this right here sometime will happen. We will hear these discussions, and then what we do, we say, that's a good idea, and put them on the shelf. And I'm saying in our history of what's been going on, nobody complains, so nobody gets anything. I'm complaining. We need to move forward. And I'm hoping that the city will really look at that in a way that you can be a part of telling us what we've done wrong or what we're doing right, pat us on the back and let us move forward. But we really need to hear those issues and bring them to a point where the city can say, hey, I'm with you, because guess what, in 2 years, the redevelopment agency for this side, it dropped, it's gone. But we intend to have that one open on that side.
Jim, it sounds to me that it's gonna have to be in addition to our capital or our comprehensive plan.
That's one thing we need to, I'll just make myself a couple of notes on this, because what I don't know about is the redevelopment agency is in the bylaws from the Florida statutes. There's requirements on there about having some stuff that's in the PSJRA plan and also on the city side in the comp plan and in the CIP plan. So that's one thing, we're gonna need to have some conversations with Marina Pennington. Brett, you may help us out with that area too, that's some area of your expertise. And also Carol Westmoreland at the Florida League of Cities is actually the resident expert on how you handle redevelopment. So Bill would probably need to have some conversation with Carol Westmoreland, Marina Pennington, and then we need to figure out, okay, what's the best avenue? Does it need to go into a CIP plan? Do we go into the redevelopment agency for potential funding that way? I don't know, that's what we gotta figure out.
Will you reach out to them between now and the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Please?
And I'd just like to state too, we have the PSJRA board, which we're all part of, but, we need to let our director know that this board is behind you 100% on this, and we want to move forward with that. So I just want to make that.
But that's our greatest concern, is that knowing, and people need to hear this, especially in an area that's been blighted that long. And I hate to say it this way, but it's a tendency when you've been down that long, they're waiting to see something happen. And me taking on the job of president of this thing, I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what I was headed for. But being that I'm here now, you know, I'm willing to fight the fight. So the people need to know and they need to see some things, and it comes from leadership. If the leadership is leading properly, people will follow properly. But if they don't have leadership properly, you know, they're gonna always be down. So we're trying to continue to wake them up. They're ready now for something to happen. And what we have, hoping that the city, even if we have to have a meeting where we can call our consultants in and you guys have an open forum or talk to them so that they can, you know, give you the understanding of where we're going, how we got our drawings up, how we have our approvals. And like I say, you know, we can go from there, but we definitely need a conversation, a roundtable conversation from the city, our consultants and our committee. And I pray that you will do this speedily so that we can go ahead and start applying for funds. And then, like I say, and not to be a burden to the city. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you for what you do.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Come on up, well, somebody. Come on in, Lena.
Okay, I'll be brief.
Okay.
I'm Lisa Matthews, 312 Avenue, Port St. Joe, Florida. What I want to say is I want to thank the city of Port St. Joe for the help Monday for our Martin Luther King Day parade. And also, another thing, I wasn't here when the Red Cross, to sign up for the Red Cross fire extinguishers. How do I do that? Or is it too late? Or do
No,
I have
it's
to
not
wait
too
till
late.
next
No,
year?
Miss Kathy Colbert, I'll have to get you her phone number, but I'll get you her phone number. She's the point for the people to call, and she'll help you out, but I'll get you her phone number.
All right. And again, I want to thank the city of Port St. Joe.
Thank you, ma'am.
I
Good to
think,
have you back.
Ms. Leith, I think Jim may have something for you.
I was gonna tell you too, John Ford, his staff, the volunteer firemen, they're the ones that's actually gonna be doing the install work for you. I'm not sure, I heard Miss Kathy Colburn in church the other day mention that too, I'm not sure what her connection was on there as far as who she had to do it. But yes, all we gotta do is if you'll call me tomorrow, I'll get you in contact with John Ford, because yes, Red Cross is getting to the volunteer fire department.
Okay, thank you. I shall.
Again, Monday was great. Monday was great.
Enjoyed it.
Come on up, Dusty.
How y'all doing?
Good.
I'm Dusty Mann, here to talk about the boat ramp and, kind of trying to get everybody to get on the same page and move forward with that a little bit. First thing I want to do is just kind of clarify my position. I had a couple conversations with people, and I just want to make sure you all understand where I'm coming from on this. I mean, the last thing I want to be is an agitator. I'm not trying to cause problems. I really want to try to work with the city as a group. I don't want to, I mean, so I kind of got the feeling I was causing problems, and that's not why I came up here, you know what I mean? I really thought I had some good ideas and was going to volunteer my time. I know you guys are busy, y'all, this night's agenda, y'all got a lot going on, you know, and it's important business, and, you know, just from looking, I didn't see a lot of people around here that did a lot of, that launched their boat a lot and used boat ramps and stuff like that a whole bunch. I know y'all all do some, but, I launch my boat about 40 or 50 times a year all over the state of Florida. And so I just thought I was going to come up here and try to volunteer a little bit of my time and effort and energy and expertise and help us, you know, kind of from the city standpoint, generate some revenue to continue to support these great things y'all are doing. I mean, the city looks awesome. Y'all are doing a great job, especially the waterfront areas down there. I mean, it's just, you know, the city never looked better, and it gets better every time I have friends that come up here from Tampa, and they're like, man, this is a cool place. I mean, I have patients that come to my office, and they're just in love with it, you know, so congratulations. And what I like to be looked at is some resource that's going to try to help you guys make more money so we can spend more on that, and y'all have more to do some of this other important stuff that y'all are all busy doing, you know. So somehow or another, I just felt like maybe I was coming at this from the wrong angle. I want to make sure y'all know I'm not one of these that likes to come to these meetings and just create trouble. Y'all got enough to do. And so anyway, I just want to get that out in the air. That's kind of where I'm going from. So basically, what I want to do here is just, again, and I think I'm kind of mimicking what Brother Chester said, and you guys are busy and y'all got a lot of things going on, and sometimes just out of, I think, need, you got to put something on the table and move on to something that's more pressing. So I'm not trying to be a squeaky wheel, but I'm gonna encourage you guys to try to move forward a little bit. I mean, we were all here and you guys made a very public commitment about boat ramp money and kind of what you guys felt like that boat ramp money ought to be used for. And I think the consensus was it ought to be used for the boat ramp or something by and large about the boat ramp, you know. And so nobody really cares what's happened in the past, but moving forward, I thought everybody was kind of on the same page. We asked the city attorney for an ordinance. I thought that he gave us a very workable ordinance. And, you know, I just am going to respectfully and very humbly say that I think that in the interest of good stewardship for the city's resources, it's time for you guys to set a date for a workshop on that ordinance. Let's sit down and hammer out what you like and don't like about it. Let's come up with something we all agree on, and let's get this thing going. I mean, spring is basically here. The boat ramp's full on the weekends. I mean, we need to be. If my thoughts and ideas are going to begin to be implemented, we're going to be wasting a whole bunch of money if we wait till somebody gives us a guesstimation on what it's going to cost to maintain a boat ramp that the bids aren't even due for Thursday on. I mean, we can be making money now. So I just am going to encourage you guys to please, let's go ahead and set a date for that workshop. And we've got an ordinance. We've got a framework. This is, I mean, it's in redevelopment, man. This is pretty cut and dry. I mean, we just need to all sit down and agree, you know. And I know I've heard the argument that we're going to wait until we find out what we got to maintain, but again, I'm going to very respectfully just say that it really shouldn't matter if the boat ramp makes $5 or $500,000. Our commitment was that money was going to be segregated and used for specific purposes. So whether the maintenance is $1 million or $100, the commitment I thought we all made was, you know, that money is going to be segregated in some way, shape, or form. Let's just get together, hammer out what that way, shape, or form is, so we can get busy. My passion is, as much as I want to help, as much as I love my city, and I want to help this city make money, my passion is not really in making money for the city. It's more in preserving natural resources and making sure that we have access to those resources for my kids and grandkids. I kind of ran into this thing in the process of that and saw that opportunity. So if you guys aren't ready to move forward, and please let me know. I'm a grown man. I've heard no before too, and I'll back off and fade into the woodwork. But I'm making a big offer here, and I'm not just coming here with good ideas. I'm coming here with man hours, my own money, and willing to help. And so that's kind of where I am.
What I'd like to see you do, if we decide on a date for a workshop, you and your group come up with some written ideas, have them, give them to the city manager so we can put it in our box and we can look at those and that give us a starting point. Because so many times we have workshop and we have 20 people here, and we have 20 different ideas and stuff. We don't have anything to work with.
Well, I think it's important though, Rex, to go back to what we're having a workshop on.
Well, yeah.
And I thought the workshop was going to be on how we're going to spend that money. So, I
already thought we did that in ordinance.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm asking. I'm asking the city to approve the ordinance.
I thought
and if you guys
we already did that.
If you guys, no, it was tabled.
Okay.
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not blaming it on y'all. Y'all just had more things to do that day. I'm actually, like Jeff said, I'm here today, so I'm trying to get you guys to try to say, hey, let's set a date. Let's sit down and have a workshop on this ordinance, and let's get this ordinance passed in a way that y'all like.
Jim, I would like to have Clinton look.
No, I have.
This was.
I know, and I'd like to have Clinton look it over, and, you know, I feel like that way, that Clinton look it over, and let's all get together, maybe with Clinton.
Put it on the agenda for the next meeting also. So because Jessica said, if you don't keep talking about it.
No. I'm glad you're saying that, because I'm with the same thing, not blaming anything on anybody. Y'all are busy, so I'm just kind of bringing this up. So if we could look over that ordinance, I want you guys to have an ordinance that y'all like and that everybody's going to agree on. Like I say, I'm not here to form a political coalition. I'd like to think the whole group could agree on something. And once they do, I'm ready to jump in with both feet and help. You know, and so, I mean, that's cool. So anyway, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So did I hear right, that next meeting?
We're gonna have it on the agenda, and between now and then, we'll have the attorney look at it,
Okay.
and we can all have
And
time
we'll
to
either
study
approve it or set a date for a workshop next meeting.
There you go.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Anyone else on the audience wish to speak tonight? Anyone else? All right, Mr. Mazette, I'll start with you up here.
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor.
All right, well, how about you?
I'd just like to reiterate, Chester and Ms. Leekland, Monday was a great day, had a great turnout at the parade. Two, the coastal areas, St. Joe, downtown was looking great. I mean, it just, I get compliments left and right, and I relay them to John, and I hope you relay them to your guys. It looks great.
That's it. All right. That's right. You good?
I don't have anything tonight.
Don't have anything? Well, I think I've said most of what I wanted to say about the kitchen and about the signs. Those are my main two things tonight, so.
Mayor, can you bring up, compliment whoever's maintaining the, message sign down on the highway, is somebody on our staff?
Michael Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's been informative every week, it's very informative, and, I think it's working well.
He does, yeah. Does he got out there?
I see him walking down there a lot. He's always asking, what you need on there, what you need to put on there?
Good, that's good, yeah,
But it's very community minded, that's what I like.
yeah, been good.
All right, motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Gone.
That's it, at your office? Okay, and then we discuss all this stuff.